Welcome to Tech Brothers with Amit. Today we are going to learn how to get file names from FTP server and save to the SQL Server Table in SSIS Package. So on the right side, what I have all the contents we are going to learn in this video. We are going to learn how to create SSIS Package from scratch. We are going to learn how to create FTP connection in SSIS Package. We are going to learn how to create ADO.NET connection in SSIS Package to connect to database, and then we are going to create a variable for FTP remote folder, and we will have that value saved in that variable, and we will pass that to the script task. We'll write a script task by using vb.net, and we will get the list of the files from the FTP remote folder that we have passed in the variable. And finally we are gonna go ahead and write those file names what we will get from the FTP folder into the SQL Server Table. And next what we have, we will change the value of the variable to any folder what we like on the FTP server and get the files from that folder. So it is a dynamic package. You can just change the folder path and it will get all the files in that folder from FTP and put into the SQL Server Table on your database. So let me show you what I have on FTP. Here is my FTP server, and I have hold on, let me go on this one. Actually, I was doing some research and a lot of things and listening some music. So it is a Saturday morning, and I am visiting Raza at his place, and that's very beautiful place, and having a lot of fun with him and also working on videos. So here what we have, let's remember the password. Now once you provide the FTP server IP address, or you can have ftp.yourcompanyname.com. In some cases we have let's consider we have ftp.microsoft.com. So this is also FTP server for Microsoft. So your company will be maybe FTP, your company name, whatever, and .com. In my case, I'm using the IP address. So if you see here, I have sales folder, and the sales folder has some files. So what is the goal? We want to get all the file names and put into the table. Why we would like to do it? There are multiple reasons. It can open whole lot new word to you. You can download all those files, okay, and maybe make sure all the files which are required to be on the FTP before you run your package, you can validate them and then run your package. You're considering receiving 20 files, and if there are only 19 files sitting there, you don't want to run your package. Let's say you are looking for some specific file names, they should be there, and then you want to run your package. Maybe there is a trigger file that and a company put after loading all those files, and then you want to read if the trigger file is written there, and you can start your process. So there is a lot of opportunity here to do the things, and finally we will go in more details and do a lot of scripting in the next videos and learn different techniques, because the FTP task is kind of limited on few of the operations. So we can't do much with the FTP task. We have to use script task, and that's why I'm starting with this, and further we will do a lot more. Now here if you see, I have created a table called DBO FTP file list. I have ID, that's integer identity, folder name, file name, and load date. So whenever I want to insert the record, I want to put some date, and I have default get date. So right now I don't have any record here. What I want to do, here is my FTP. It has sales folder, and then we have a test folder. Test folder has subfolders, but I'm not concerned about subfolders. Right now we are only reading the file name from the main folder, whatever we provide. So let's go back now. We can do that, but in this video we are going to only select the file names from a main folder. Now let's go to the SSDT or bids, whatever you have, and create a SSIS package. I could have done one thing. I could have created the package right here and write everything and debug it, and it can take me like maybe 30 minutes. I don't want to do that because there is no purpose of writing script just like 20 lines here and show you, okay, this is how you write the script. I want to show you, walk you through each line of the script, what I have written and how it's gonna work, and you can go ahead and copy from the sqla.blogspot.com. I'm gonna put the description link in the description of this video. You can open it, just copy paste to your a script task in SSIS package and run it. So I don't want to waste tons of time here. To create a FTP connection, you have to go here in the connection managers and go to new, and then you will be using FTP here and hit add. Here you will provide the server name. So let me paste it, Control Z, that's not right. So let me take the server name or IP address and Control V. Here, if you provide these FTP : // it is going to give you error because it does not accept these backslashes and FTP. So if you test the connection, it's going to say cannot connection cannot be established. The server name, port name, or credential may be invalid. That's not right information because it does not accept these backslashes and all that. That's why it is giving us error. So if you are providing those FTP and colons, remove them and just provide the IP address or provide the exact like ftp.yourcompanyname.com, the server name. So once you are done, it will create a new connection manager. What I did, I created a connection manager and then I renamed to FTP_connection. So you can right click, rename, and we can call it anything. We can call it FTP connection 1. So that's how I have renamed it. There is no purpose of creating another one, so I'm going to delete this one. And then I created ADO.NET connection. So I right click here, went to ADO.NET, and here I provided the server name. So I went to SSMS. Let's say if I don't know the server name, so I select @ server name. I can take the server name from here, my choice, or I can write it here, use this variable and just copy paste and come back to the package and paste it here. And then I selected the database. So once the connection is tested, hit OK. Now we are OK. And then I renamed the same way I renamed the other one. So I called it DB connection. Let's call this one DB connection 1. So that's how I created this connection. And now we don't need this one, so I'm going to remove this. So now you learn how to create FTP connection, and also you get to know how to create ADO.NET connection. We are going to use these both connections in our script task. So I brought the script task from the toolbar. So I went here, and if you are using bids, you will be, once you click on the toolbox, you will have that under the control flow, and this is one of the script task is there. So you can drag it and it will be there. One more thing, before even we start using the script task, we need to go and create a variable. So it is the variable is called remote folder, and it is string type, and I have created with the value, let's say I want to create for the sales folder. So that's how I have created this variable. Why I'm using variable? Because if I want to change the value and point to any other folder, I don't have to do anything. I can simply provide the value to this variable by using SSIS configuration. I can use SQL Server configuration, or I can use XML configuration, or whatever the configuration you would like. You can provide the value to this variable and change it to any folder, and that's how we can get the files from any folder and save them into this table. If you are using SSDT SQL Server Data Tools and you are using SSIS 2012 or 2014, you might want to create the parameter, and then you can change the value of a parameter, and that's all according to the environment, or just if you are interested to get the data from different folders, you can change the values and keep getting the files from a specific folder that you have defined here. So now let's hit to the script task and take a look what we have done. Open the script task, and here you will see read only variables, and I have clicked here and selected that variable. There was only one user variable, so it was just easy for me to locate it, and it's a start with user, so I have clicked here. So you can click here, unclick here, and that's how you will select the variable. Hit OK. Now hit edit script. Some people say, why you are wasting time on telling us all the way how the script work? Because I am not a .NET developer, I'm not VB or C# developer, I'm a SQL Server developer or DBA or solution architect. So when it comes to the SSIS developer, not everybody is that smart or have experience in writing VB code or C# code. So that's why I want to walk you through each of that, and you learn it what exactly we are doing here, and you can learn how to use a script task and write some scripts. So first of all, we have to have import. So we have to have import the namespace data.sql client, because we are making connection to the SQL Server and ADO.NET connection manager has been used. So we have to add this namespace. If we would not, it will go throw us error. The same way, like if you are using math functions and all those kind of things, you are using sys.math. If you are reading the files, you will say sys.io. So those namespaces has different functions that we can use. So for ADO.NET connection to work, we need to have sys.data.sql client. So this is the first line you will have it. Next, you will come here in the main and then start writing your code. Now, first of all, we are in the VB.NET. I'm not a big fan of VB.NET. I know C# a little better than VB, but this code I thought, okay, let's write in VB, but no big deal. So we are going to go through each line. So first of all, to declare a variable, we say dim and then say the variable name, and here we are declaring string folder array, and that's how you will put the parentheses here. That will make it array. If it will be just a string, we will just leave these parentheses. So if we are declaring an array can hold more than one value. So if you need to hold multiple values, you will be using array. As the file names will be multiple values and folder names will be also more than one value and can be more than one value. In our cases, let's say we have this FTP, and here in FTP we have multiple files, so it need to hold all of the file names. So that's why we are doing this one. In the test folder we have multiple folders as well, so that's how I'm creating all those arrays here. So here I'm saying folder array. We are not going to use this one, but it is a requirement for one of the functions, so that's why I'm having it here. Now I'm creating the array for the files, so I'm going to get all the file names and put into string file array. Here I'm creating a variable just called file name, so we will loop to this array and save the file name to the file name variable. Then we have remote path, and this path is the FTP folder path that we will be using, and I am setting the value of this remote path to the variable. So if you need to get the value from the variable, you will say dts dot variables and small parentheses, double quotes, user colon and name of your variable and double quotes dot value dot to string, because it is a string type and that's how we are saving it. If you are using C#, you will be using square brackets here, but in VB.NET you will be using small parentheses. Next, we will use this one when we will make the connection to the FTP and get those all things for this folder. Here we are using dim, and I'm calling that this one ADO.DB connection as SQL.SQL connection. So we are declaring this one of type SQL client.SQL connection, and then I'm setting the value. So that's how I'm providing, okay, use a DB connection that we have created in the SSIS package, and set this to this variable, and that's how we will be using this connection. Next, we are saying dim CM connection manager for FTP as connection manager, and we are using this connection manager from the SSIS package, and you will be using that connection manager. You can use all those things. You can open a FTP here, you can pass the IP address here, username, password, port, and everything you can do inside here. But I recommend kind of thing, okay, you create your FTP connection in the package and just use it for, and have 2 lines of code here. Dim FTP client connection new, so acquire the connection and open it. Next, we are connecting to the FTP. So that's how, first of all we define it, then we connect it, and then in the next we have to provide the set working directory, the directory on the FTP server on which we want to work. In our case, if you remember, we are working on sales, right? Because that's what we have provided in the variable. So as we have provided the value sales in the remote path variable, and this is coming from the remote folder variable, so we have sales here. Think about it as just a sales, and this value can be changed if we will change the value of remote folder variable. Next, what we are doing here, FTP get listing, we are getting all the folder names if they are, and all the file names from that directory. So that's how we will be getting all the folder names and the directory. As I said that we are not concerned about folders in this video, so we are not going to use this part anymore. But if I would not provide this one, this kind of give me error, so I have to use this array just to save the value. Next, I'm saying if there is no file in the folder, string array will contain nothing. So simply what we will do, if there is no file on that folder, on the FTP server, we will just close the connection. We don't need to do anything. But if there is else, if there is a value, what we will do, we will use for each loop. Remember, for each file enumerator we use in the SSIS package to loop through all the files which are in the folder. The same way we can use the for each loop here, and we will be looping through the string file array and save into the variable file name. So that's how we will be save one value at a time, and it will keep looping till it's not done. Next, I'm saying message box dot show file name. This is good for, let's say, if you are debugging or you are running first time, maybe you want to see, okay, the file name is read correctly or not, so you can use that one. Next, I'm declaring a dim command text as string. So I'm declaring a variable in which I will build my SQL statement. So set I'm setting the value here, SQL command text is equal to insert into table name, folder name, file name. These are the 2 columns I want to insert in the table, because I have ID that will be auto identity, and I have the load date that will be default with the get date. So I don't have to put all the 4 columns here. I only need to get the folder name that can change and the file name that will be changing, and values will be coming from the remote path, and that's our variable value. So I have declared a local variable, and it will be set by the variable value that we have created in SSIS package. And next, I'm putting comma here, and here if you see, I'm adding these single quotes around each of them value. These are string values, and when we insert into SQL table, we have to put single quotes. And then I'm adding a file name. So I'm preparing my query for folder path and file name. And if I want to print how it would look like, I can just pop up this one, message box.show SQL command text. So it is good idea, you want to see the SQL statement before you run the entire thing in production, and you can come back and comment them out later and leave them there if for debugging later if you need. And next, we are saying dim command database as SQL command new SQL command text. So use the text what we have prepared here for this connection manager and run it. And here we are going to run that query cmd.database.execute no query. So we are not passing any parameter or anything. We will just run that query. That's how we'll do it. Then if we have next, it's going to loop through again, get the next file name from the string file array and keep running till this array has any value or any file name in it. Next, once it's done, we will close the FTP connection and then we'll say end if. So this is going to end the whole thing from if and else statement. And then we say dts.task result, and this is already there. We didn't do anything. This was by default, and we didn't make any changes after that as well. So that's all we have here. If I did my best to explain everything what I have done here, and I am telling you again, I'm not a .NET developer, VB.NET or C#. I can write very basic or some middle level scripts, and I feel like okay, if you did not understand, go ahead and research, and but or write me a question or comment and say, okay, Amir, here you were doing some mistake. This is not what you are talking about, and this does not work the way you explain it. So go ahead and write the comments. I'm willing to take those comments, and I'm I want to learn more about that. So I'm going to write a lot of scripts though. So if there are some small mistakes are happening, you can go ahead and correct it if you are a great .NET developer, and also write in the comments, and we can make maybe better use of that one. So but these scripts will work whatever I will provide, and at least you have all those basic good scripts that can work for your requirement. So I'm gonna save this one, build it, and build succeeded, fine, save it. Now we are all good, hit OK. And we are ready to run our package. One thing I would like to tell you guys as a BI developer, don't be worried about writing script, just jump in and start writing it. When I say I'm not .NET developer, doesn't mean that I have to stop myself forever and do nothing. I just have to jump in and figure it out. So go ahead and do it. I will recommend doing it by yourself. So start the package. Now what happened? This is as we have provided the remote path variable value to the test folder. So this is what it is given us. So let's go back, and I have provided so this is the first file name it is given us. So fine, give me that. Then it is given us that insert query that it build, and so that's fine, hit OK. So it is given us the next one, create audit. So that's how it will keep popping up. And if you go back at the same moment, you will see these records are being inserted in the SQL table. So you can see that. But we will go ahead in the next, we will go ahead and remove that message boxes, so it will not pop up 100 times if we have a lot of files. So we don't want to keep clicking, but so it's all done. It has taken the values from the test folder and put all those file names in the SQL Server table. Now let's go back, change our script a little bit, remove those message boxes by putting the comment, or just remove them as you like. My videos are really long and I don't know what to do with that. I try my best, but there are a lot of explanation I'd like to do always. So rebuild your script one more time, save it. I don't know you guys like it or you guys hate it. There are so many people. Write some comments like you like my videos in a lengthy way, that way I do it, or you want to make it just like 5 minutes quick and don't want me to explain the scenarios. So go ahead, run your package again. I did mistake again. I did not change the folder value, so it is going to insert another 9 records for the test folder. That's fine, no big deal. So we can go back and change the variable value. Here we will change to the sales now. Let's go and run it. So now it ran for sales, and let's see if the values are there for the sales. So now we see that it is inserting the values for sales folder, and then insert all those file names, and then we have load time. That's actually the load time of what time we are inserting these records, and these are the values coming from the test folder. So that's how you can run this package, maybe truncate this table every time, run this package, load the file names from that folder here, do validation, take the counts. So let's say it should be 5 files or 6 files. Okay, there should be a trigger file in these files, and then you have something after that here. After script, you have execute SQL task here, do the validation, and then say okay, start downloading by using FTP or whatever you want to. Maybe you want to use the script task to download and start loading those files from your local to the database once you are done with the downloading from the FTP server. So thanks very much, and I will see you in next video.